Hi folks, and welcome to my alternative review for Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And I say alternative because I'm going to let you decide if it's the sort of game that you're going to enjoy or not. I'll show you the gameplay, I'll tell you how it works, and I'll give you my opinion on it, of course, because a lot of the other reviewers are either caught up in the Call of Duty Blackout hype, or maybe they do genuinely love the game, which is fair enough. And while the game is okay, there's nothing wrong with it, I didn't enjoy it quite as much as I was hoping to. This video is going to help you decide if it's the sort of gameplay that you're going to fall in love with, or if it's one to avoid. And if you decide that you would like to buy this, then do check out the link down to Green Man Gaming down below. Pick it up there for a great price. So firstly, and most importantly to point out, there is no story mode, there is no campaign in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It is pure online multiplayer shooting gameplay. So if you hate online shooters, well, I guess you are out straight away. Now, without a doubt, the most hyped up and talked about mode of this game is the Battle Royale mode Blackout. That's where 88 players are dropped into a huge map with no equipment, and it's basically everyone scrambles to pick up guns and body armor and med kits and everything else, make their way into the center of the map, and it's the last person standing is the winner. But this isn't PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, there's also 5 other multiplayer modes that you can access. So for the other multiplayer games, you've got Control, Heist, Free-for-All, Chaos Team Deathmatch and Capture the Mosh Pit, which we'll talk all about in detail later on. You've also got Zombies mode. This is like a PvE, player versus environment mode, where you and some other players group up to fight off wave after wave of zombies coming at you. Probably Blackout you want to hear most about, so let's go and take a look at Blackout, Battle Royale mode. Blackout, Battle Royale. This mode borrows heavily from PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. For example, you've got the staging area where you run around and shoot, but you can't hurt anyone. You parachute into a map. You've got the shrinking play area with the blue dome of death slowly chasing you that you always have to stay ahead of. You could almost say it's a PUBG clone, but there are some differences. Some things have been simplified to make life a little bit easier for the player. For example, you get attachments that auto-add themselves to the weapon you got selected. Now, that can be a good and a bad thing. It saves precious moments, but at the same time, I found myself picking up attachments that I was thinking I'll save for later, maybe at the start of the game, and they would auto-attach to a weapon that I had no intention of keeping, and in the heat of the moment when I found something better, I'd throw it away, complete with attachments. But that's probably just something that I would need to get used to, and you might need to if you've come from something like PUBG. So, 88 players drop into the map, and you can play solo like a lone wolf, or you can pair it with a buddy in duo, or you can go with 3 other friends and play in quads. And I will say right off the bat, you will probably get a lot more out of this game and the experience of it if you play with friends. It's a tough life playing solo, it can be frustrating, can be very rewarding if you are a lone wolf player and prefer to go it alone, but at the same time, you're far more likely to get an enjoyable experience, in my opinion, if you've got some buddies. So if you're going to buy this, check with the usual gaming buddies to make sure they're keen on it too. So the map is pretty big, with a ton of locations you can jump into. Perhaps you'll go for a big industrial complex like the docks that is absolutely heaving with special weapons and equipment, but maybe everyone else will go there too. Perhaps you'll go for just some lone cabin in the woods, taking the chance that there might not be very many good guns or some armor there, but maybe it'll be quiet and there won't be too many folks dropping on you right at the start of the game. The choices are quite wide. It's down to your personal playstyle and preferences. There are some strange locations like the old asylum, which I found to be teeming with heavy weapons and machine guns, and also full of zombies, which I really wasn't expecting to see in this game. But hey, the zombies are there. Now, in my experience, you'll probably find that one of 2 things happen to you when you drop into the game. You will either pick an area where suddenly lots of players also decide to land in as 2, and it'll be a mad, frantic scramble for survival as you rush to find some weapons, some medkits, some body armor, as you try and shoot people before they get a chance to pick up a gun, or maybe you get shot before you've had a chance to pick up a gun, or maybe you're just running for your life from the mass melee and gunfight that's going on behind you. This is frantic and exciting and, for the most part, very short-lived, unless you can get into some cover, get some decent weapons, get some kit. All depends just where you land, which rooms, houses, buildings you choose to go into, and the luck of the draw to what other people find before you get there. Or the second outcome is that you'll land somewhere in the middle of nowhere and you'll never see another player for the next 10 or 15 minutes as you slowly make your way towards the center of the circle, which, by the way, does change around from game to game. You're not always heading to the same place on the map. Yeah, I've had quite a few of these latter ones where you think, great, I've got somewhere, I've picked up some guns, now let's find someone to kill. And nobody turns up. No one decided to go past your location, or at least maybe they did, but you didn't see them. Who knows? And you just spend the whole time looking, waiting, and doing nothing. And I've had some top 10 finishes in games like this, where you just get to the top 10, you think, well, great, I'm in the top 10, but I've done absolutely nothing to deserve it. Of course, it doesn't matter how many you kill throughout the game, it's being that last person left alive at the end that really counts. So the gameplay can go from something really frantic and a mad scramble to survive to dull camping with your back to a wall, or just looking out of a window or from behind a tree or a rock, maybe seeing nothing and nobody for minutes and minutes at a time. You know, it goes from frantic to dull. It's pretty standard Battle Royale gameplay, really. This is what it's all about. But unfortunately, it didn't really grab me. Whether I did well or badly in it, I didn't really feel that tang that drew me back in to play more. Still, there are a fantastic selection of weapons to play with. Everything from pistols to shotguns to sniper rifles to heavy machine guns to rocket launchers. Whatever you want to play with is in here, and for the large part it's down to personal preference and playstyle. Yes, some things are always going to be more popular, like the 50 cal sniper rifle, being able to take someone out with one shot, even close range, long range. They're always going to be good. Personally, I enjoyed the heavy machine guns, but you know, I'm just a big kid and I like playing with things that go daka 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 daka. But the selection is good, and until you get used to all the weapons, you may suffer from a little bit of analysis paralysis when deciding whether to drop one in exchange for something else you've just found on the floor. So if Blackout provides the opportunity for that slower-paced, tactical, sneaky, stealthy, setting up positions, looking for fields of fire, keeping an eye out everywhere type of gameplay, then the other 5 player versus player modes are the exact opposite. These are all ultra fast-paced, bunny-hopping, sprint round a corner and blap someone in the face before they get to blap you back. They're relentless, they're quick, they can be extremely frustrating, but at the same time, they provide quite a nice contrast to sometimes the slower and occasionally duller pace of the Battle Royale. Personal preferences, of course, will vary. Now, looking at the different modes, you've got 4 team-based ones and one called Free-for-All, which, as the name suggests, is everyone out there gunning down everybody else. This is the ultimate in bunny hopping, sprinting at full speed, shooting people as fast as you can before they get to shoot you back. It's the ultimate Twitch-based reactions, and this is seriously fast-paced. I've got to say, for me personally, it's everything that I really don't like in online shooters. But that's just a personal preference thing. The game does it absolutely perfectly fine and responds quite well. And if you like that sort of thing, you will probably love this. I've played my fair share of these in the past, things like Quake and Unreal Tournament and previous Call of Duty games and various Battlefield games. It's going to be a case of, if it's your thing, you're going to love it. If it's not, you're probably not. Now, moving on from that, you've got Control. This is where 2 teams fight for various points on the map, which will give them control of the map. You hold the locations, you defend them, you rack up a score, and your team wins or loses, depending on who does the best. You've also got Heist. This is like a capture the flag type of game. That's the nearest thing I can equate it to. There's a bag of cash thrown down in the middle of a map. Both teams have to rush and get it, and then you have to get it back to an extraction point and hold and defend that point whilst the cash is extracted via helicopter. Or you can just go and kill all the enemy team. That will win too. Chaos Team Deathmatch, as the name suggests, puts 2 teams in a deathmatch, and it's, you know, whichever team has anyone standing at the end is the winner. I actually enjoyed this mode more than the ones I've mentioned so far, and also I thought was decent was it's called Capture the Mosh Pit. This is like King of the Hill from old school shooters. Basically, there's a random area in the map that needs to be taken and held. The longer you hold and defend that place with your team, you rack up points. And then at some point, the location changes and you have to rush and grab that. Whichever team has the most points at the end of the time is the winner. All of these are extremely fast-paced games. They're very much about bunny hopping, running around corners, shooting people in the face with instant Twitch reactions. As I said before, you either love it or you hate it. To be honest, I actually started to enjoy these a little bit more after I played some of the slower encounters on the Battle Royale. Not that all Battle Royale encounters were slow by any means, but sometimes you get a match where you just don't see another player for the whole time you're in there until you get killed at the end in the last 10 or the last 5. Then these provide quite a different contrast and a different experience. And then we come to the zombies mode, and this is something that I really wasn't expecting. Maybe I should have been, I don't know, but this threw me a bit. This is like a PvE mode, co-op PvE mode, so if you like co-op play, there is something in here for you as well. Basically, you and some random players or some friends, if you've got any, then group up to go and fight off wave after wave of zombies coming at you. It's kind of strange though, because you've also got mystical powers that you can call upon and fancy melee weapons, and yeah, I don't know, I didn't really get this in a Call of Duty game, but it's actually not bad at all if you like that sort of thing. As you destroy wave after wave of zombies, you generate cash, which you can use to buy new weapons. Actually in the game, as you're playing, extra ammo for those weapons, which is quite important, various other upgrades and stuff. And as long as you play together, you just see how many rounds you can last. The zombies get tougher and tougher and more of them as you go. It is challenging, it is difficult. Is it what you want to buy a Call of Duty game for? Well, it's not what I would buy a Call of Duty game for. Your opinion might differ. It is what it is, does what it does rather well. Oh, and a quick word on classes and leveling as well. In the PvP modes, there are a nice selection of classes to play. Predefined skills and abilities. Gives a little bit of variety. You have to unlock some of these as you play and level up. And when I say level up, yeah, you level up through playing player versus player matches. You pick up points depending on your kills and score and damage, etc, etc. How many team wins you get. And you go up in rank. You can unlock classes. You can unlock a custom class, which you can then design your own soldier, effectively. However, you do need then to unlock the different weapons that you can choose to assign to that class as well. Same in zombies, you can level up there, and you can pick perks for your players and characters, and it all gives you something to either grind towards, or work towards, or play towards, and just enjoy, or maybe have goals to set, depending on how you look at it. Graphics and sound, I both thought were pretty good. Let's check them out.
Nomad kill.
Only issues I really had were the little flaky bits of leaves falling from trees. They are everywhere in the Blackout mode, and they got quite annoying because when you're looking for the tiniest bit of movement out the scope somewhere, trying to detect enemy players, you often get distracted by these, but I guess I could probably turn them off in the settings somewhere. The only other issue I had was occasional little bit of input lag, like you'd press the button to pick something up off the floor, and it didn't respond immediately, so you'd then go on running, you'd run past it, and you turn around to go and pick it back, and it would suddenly pick it up, and it threw you off a little bit. But it's a multiplayer online game relying on servers, which are probably very, very busy, having just launched. So I expect little issues like that to crop up, and I do expect them to be patched out pretty quick as well and solved. So I don't think that'll be a long-term issue. I should add, it was only very occasionally I came across this. So, does Call of Duty Black Ops 4 fulfill its ambitions? Does it achieve what it has set out to be? Well, it was pretty clear to me that it set out to be a PUBG clone. I mean, it's so obvious from so many of the features that they have borrowed from that game in the Blackout Battle Royale mode. And why not jump on that hype train? I mean, PUBG's been great for a while. Fortnite's been huge for a while as well. So there's a lot of games trying to jump in on that mode. Some successfully, some unsuccessfully. What about this one? Well, just because it's borrowed and copied a lot of the ideas of others doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's not. It does the Battle Royale thing pretty well, I think. It's quite good at that. If you've played PUBG and just want something different, this would do it. If you didn't like PUBG but like more about this and like the addition of the other player versus player modes, this will do it. If you don't like the cartooniness and building of Fortnite, then this will scratch your Battle Royale itch, with the addition of the online player versus player team and solo modes as well. However, let's face it, there is no offline story mode whatsoever. So unless you are really into online multiplayer shooters, this game is not going to be for you. Now, do I recommend people rush out there and buy it? Well, that entirely depends. You see, I am done with it already. It's not that it's bad. I'm not going to knock the game just because I don't like it. It's a personal preference, but I find that it didn't really get its teeth into me. There's nothing that I've played about it that I want to go back for more. It's just, it's all right. Does that okay? Does that okay? Does everything okay, really? It's just, it's not really me. I can't say that I had a lot of fun and enjoyed it, but that is just a personal preference. There's nothing that the game does particularly badly to make me feel like that. The Battle Royale mode was a game of two halves. It was either frantic, scrabbling for survival, depending on where you landed, and the luck of who landed with you, trying to grab the weapons first. Some of that was actually kind of fun. Or it was a game of lonely wandering through the wilderness or camping somewhere and maybe never seeing anyone for ages at a time until I lost patience and went looking. And that's not necessarily the way to win those games at all. But it does it fine. It's the same in any other Battle Royale mode you'll find. And then there was the 5 PvP modes as well. They really are just ultra Twitch based, so fast reactions, bunny hopping everywhere to make it harder to be hit, blap people in the face as you sprint round the corner. For me, they are just a little bit too fast and frantic. It was a nice contrast to some of the slower times in Blackout. Not that all Blackout times are slow by any means, but it was a contrast to those. If you like it, then this does it quite well too, and there's different game modes to enjoy and lots of stuff to unlock, perks to pick up. Yeah, you'll enjoy it, no doubt about it. The zombies thing just didn't really do it for me at all, because that's not something I wanted when I'm buying a modern shooter. But hey, if you like that, it's there as an option for a bit of a PvE mode. It's something very different to all the rest, we can certainly say that. So at the end of the day, it's going to purely come down to personal preference. If you like this sort of thing, go for it, enjoy it, have fun. Me, I'm out already, and I'll be looking to play something else. Probably Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I'll be picking up very shortly. So I do hope you found this review useful. Give it a like down below if you did, and if you thought it was a load of rubbish and I'm talking out my backside, then give it a thumbs down instead. And of course, let me know what you think about this game and any others, and any more that you'd like to see me review down in the comments down below. Okay folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one.